I'll read it for you, but not sure if until the end because it's very long. And in the end of the video, I'll mix some music. No sufro de locura, la disfruto todo el tiempo.
Linden Lab Terms of Service. This agreement, the agreement of the Terms of Service, describes the terms in which Linden Research Inc. Linden Lab offered you access to its interactive entertainment products and services. The service means all features, applications, content, and downloads offered by Linden Lab, including its websites, servers, Linden software, Linden content, and user content, as those terms are defined below. This offer is conditioned on your agreement to all of the terms and conditions contained in the terms of service, including the policies and terms liked to or otherwise referenced in this agreement, all of which are hereby incorporated into this agreement. By using the service, you agree to and accept these terms of service, including all policies and terms liked to or otherwise referenced herein. If you do not so agree, you should decline this agreement, in which case you are prohibited from accessing or using the service. Table of Contents. This agreement includes both the terms above and the following sections, which you may jump to directly by selecting the appropriate link below. The headings and subheadings are for your convenience only. You are responsible for reviewing all sections. Define terms and related links in their entirety to ensure you fully understand this agreement. Number 1, online service. Number 2, content license and intellectual property rights. Number 3, eligibility to use the service. Number 4, account registration and billing. Number 5, termination of your account. Number 6, user conduct. Number 7, infringement notifications. Number 8, privacy and your personal information. Number 9, releases, disclaimers, liability and limits, and indemnification. Number 10, dispute resolution and arbitration. Number 11, general provisions. Number 12, related policies. Now, number 1, online service. Defined terms. Account means the entirety of your contractual rights and obligations under this agreement associated with a particular account name, defined below. You have selected for accessing the service. Content means any works or authorship, creative works, graphics, images, textures, photos, logos, videos, audio, text, and interactive features. Intellectual property rights means copyrights, trademarks, service marks, trade dress, publicity rights, database rights, patent rights, and other intellectual property rights or proprietary rights recognized by law. In-world means without a three-dimensional virtual world environment, such as within SecondLife. Linden content is the content provided to you in connection with the service, including but not limited to content we created or licensed from third parties, subject to the license set forth herein. Linden software is the software provided to you by Linden Lab and/or its suppliers under license in connection with the service, including but not limited to the software for accessing the service and any other communication software, whether facilitating text-based, chat-based, voice, audio, or other communication within or outside of the service, and any application program interfaces, the APIs, for use with the service. Servers are the online environments that support the service, including without limitation the server computation, electronic data storage, software access, messaging, and protocols that simulate the service. User content means any content that a user of the service has uploaded, published, or submitted to or through the the stupid Facebook. I repeat, user content means any content that a user of the service has uploaded, published, or submitted to or through the service, websites, or other areas of the service. Websites are the websites and services available from the domain and subdomains of Linden Lab and any related entity or successor domains from which Linden Lab may offer the service. The service exists only as long as and in the form that we may provide the service, and all aspects of the service, including your user account, are subject to change or elimination. Linden Lab has the right to change, limit access to, and/or eliminate your aspects, features, or functionality of the service, including your user content, as it sees fit at any time without notice. And Linden Lab makes no commitment, express or implied, to maintain or continue or to permit open access to any aspect of the service. You acknowledge that your use of the service is subject to this risk and that you knowingly assume it and make your decisions to participate in the service, contribute content, and spend your money accordingly. Linden Lab may but will not have the obligation to maintain or otherwise make use of any of your user content, and Linden Lab may, in its sole discretion, modify, delete, or otherwise make use of a user content without notice and any liability to you or any third party. Linden Lab reserves the right to treat user content on the service as content stored at the direction of user for which Linden Lab will not exercise control except to block or remove content that comes to Linden Lab's attention and is offensive, obscene, abusive, illegal, or otherwise objectionable to Linden Lab, or to enforce the rights of third parties or the content restrictions set forth below in Section 7. When notice of their violation comes from Linden Lab's attention. Such user content submitted by you or others need not, however, be maintained on the servers by us for any period of time, and you will not have the right, once submitted, to access, achieve, maintain, or otherwise use such user content on the servers. Your user content is not confidential. You represent that your content is original to you and/or your minor child. Linden Lab may now or in the future offer users of the service the opportunity to display, publish, distribute, transmit, broadcast, or otherwise make available on or submit through the service collectively submit user content. We may do this through forums, blogs, message boards, social networking environments, social communities, email, and other functionality. Subject to the rights and license you grant in this agreement, you retain whatever legally recognizable right, title, and interest that you have in your user content. Each time you submit any user content, you represent and warrant that you are at least the age of majority in the state in which you reside and are the parent or legal guardian, or have all proper consents from the parent or legal guardian of any minor who is depicted in or contributed to any user content you submit, and that as to that user content, a. You are the sole author and owner of the intellectual property and other rights to the user content, or you have the lawful right to submit the user content and grant Linden Lab the rights to it that you are granting by this agreement any additional terms as defined in Section 2.2 below, all without Linden Lab obligation to obtain consent of any third party and without creating any obligation or liability of Linden Lab. B. The user content is accurate. C. The user content does not, and as to Linden Lab's permitted uses and exploitation set forth in this agreement, will not infringe any intellectual property and other rights of any third party. And D. The user content will not violate this agreement and any additional terms or cause injury or harm to any person. Please remember that the service is a public forum and user content that you submit will be accessible to and viewable by other users, except as may be required to register and/or maintain your account. Do not submit personally identifiable information, e.g. first or last name together, password, phone number, address, credit or debit card number, medical information, email address, or other contact information on the service. Wait a minute, does this mean Twitter contact? Okay, let's continue. You can comment on the video below, okay? Except as otherwise described in our privacy policy and any additional terms we provide to you, and agree that your user content will be treated as non-confidential and non-proprietary and will not be returned, and Linden Lab does not assume any obligation of any kind to you or any third party with respect to your user content. Upon Linden Lab's request, you will furnish us with any documentation necessary to substantiate these rights and verify your compliance with this agreement and any additional terms. One form. Linden Lab is a service provider and is not responsible or liable for the conduct or service of users to users or third parties. You understand that Linden Lab is a service provider that enables its users to interact online and display and communicate information and content chosen by those users. Linden Lab does not control or endorse the content of communications between users or users' interactions with each other on the service. You acknowledge that you will be exposed to various aspects of the service involving the conduct, content, and services of users, and that Linden Lab does not control and is not responsible or liable for the quality, safety, legality, truthfulness, and accuracy of any such user conduct, user content, or user services. You acknowledge that Linden Lab does not guarantee the accuracy of information submitted by any user of the service, nor any identity information about any user. Your interactions with other users and your use of user content are entirely at your own risk. Linden Lab has no obligation to become involved in any dispute that you have that you may have to claim to have with one or more users of the service, or in any manner in any resolution thereof. The service may contain links to or otherwise allow connections to third-party websites, servers, and online services or environments that are not owned or controlled by Linden Lab. You agree that Linden Lab is not responsible or liable for the content, policies, or practices of any third parties' websites, servers, or online services or environments. This sounds like always the same, sorry. Please consult any applicable terms of use and privacy policies provided by the third party for such websites, servers, or online services or environments.